Looks like you're live.
All right.
Looks like you have both audio channels going, so you might want to disable one of the channels
Yeah. Let's see.
for the video. Like just keep the English one going.
Just so you know, you are live now.
Live. I am live.
We are live, House. We are live.
All right. But of course, it wouldn't be SHIRO if there weren't some sort of technical issue once in a while, right?
Exactly.
How many of these do I actually have open? Okay, how about you to mute?
You're only coming out of my left channel. There's a Discord setting that I'll walk you through in a second.
Okay.
It's in if you click on the settings button, there's advanced audio properties. It's on like the where the VU meters are.
Yeah.
Go there and then click on that cog. Go to advanced audio settings and then select your mic and hit mono on it. So it's coming out of both channels.
All right.
Then you should be coming out of both channels.
Advanced developer mode. Nope.
Oh no, it's on the audio meter on the main Discord channel. There's all those VU meters and there's a cog next to the volume button.
Right.
Or next to the speaker, and then go to advanced audio properties.
All right, so I'm in the voice settings. And not seeing an advanced. Why am I not seeing?
Oh no! What you do is the main Discord thing where you see the video, all those things. There's a bunch of audio mixers. It's called Audio Mixer, and there's a bunch of channels for mic gameplay and all that stuff. And there's going to be a cog next to the V meter. Any one of those cogs. There's like 4 or 5 of them, depending on how many audio channels you have.
Amateur hour, guys. Amateur hour. Yeah, I totally don't see this. I must be blind.
Alright, give me a second.
Yeah, no, you're fine.
Yeah, just give me a second. I'm just trying to get everything put together real quick on my end. Trying to get the stream together.
Yeah, I see like noise suppression, the general voice. I don't see all that.
I'll see in Discord. It's going to be on the main menu. I'll show you. I'll see you in the screenshot if I can.
All right.
Load that up. Give me a sec.
Yeah. No, totally.
Where did that send? What did that save to? What the heck? Okay, I just sent you the picture of it.
All right. Let me share.
This is it. This is Fire Pro Wrestling.
Yeah,
This is
Six
Fire
Men
Pro
Scramble.
Wrestling.
Yep, 6Men Scramble. All right.
So while Keith's doing that, I'll do an introduction real quick. Welcome to the 6Men Scramble stream. We are playing, and Kay is showing off 6Men Scramble, the hand translation by, of course, Malenko, and all the information about it, because he is the master of Fire Pro. Kay is, of course, or Murder of Crows.
Oh, wait, this is an OBS.
Yeah, aren't you using OBS?
No, I am, but you've been saying Discord. I'm like, well, I can't find this in Discord.
Sorry, I meant OBS. I'm sorry. Like I said, I'm a bit distracted right now, so.
No, you're fine. All right, so I actually didn't add that in, but I think I see what you're talking about now. So
Yeah, and then you can select your mic as
advanced audio.
Yeah.
There's the mic, and then mono. Close. All right, is that working out now?
Yep, perfect. You're the center channel.
Woot.
Nice. Glad we got that sorted.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah,
How annoying.
I think we should be good to go. Do you want to... I'm going to go share this out a little bit more that we're all ready. Do you want to start doing a little bit of introduction about the game and your involvement with it?
Sure. Yeah, I got into the Saturn partially because of this game. It was put out by Human Entertainment sometime in 1997, pretty late in the Saturn's life, all things considered. And it's got pretty decent lineage. The developers go all the way back to like the pro wrestling game on the NES. And yeah, its major appeal for me was that you had like a 6-man battle royal mode where 6 human players could actually, wrestle at the same time, and you could create quite a few custom wrestlers, and didn't really see anything like it at the time. A lot of people are turned off by it because it's kind of a 2D thing, and we were in the era of the beginning of 3D wrestling games. Excuse me. Any case,
Good?
oh, go ahead.
You good?
All right. So, I had wanted a translation of this game in a long time ago. You'll see like some threads going back quite a while, and kind of fix that a little bit. And Malenko and Slinga, who was going by Superfly at the time, we all kind of got together and moved forward with this. Malenko doing all of the programming and ROM hacking, tile creation, Slinga creating some tools for us to import data and change data around. And then Knight, helping Malenko with a lot of the hacking ideas that came about from this, and me providing more like a consultation role, providing ideas for names of things, renaming the original set of wrestlers, things like that. What I'm showcasing right now is actually the latest version. Malenko gave this to me today, which changed around the default wrestling attire, right? The clothes that they're wearing. So I'll just go ahead and start this off. Thanks to Knight for helping me get a dual emulator set up at the same time with this single controller.
I do like the setup. It looks nice and clean in the video, at least.
Oh, I love that little logo that Dave put up for me.
Yeah, that's really cool. I like it too.
All right, let me turn this.
The whole setup's pretty sweet.
me turn that audio down a little bit more. Let's see. And let me turn it down here. Okay. Hopefully it still comes out all right out there. So the main menu, this mode select, he hacked in all of the titles.
You're a little bit quiet on here. Sorry.
Oh, I am? Or is it the...
Yeah.
Okay.
You're quiet. The volume's too loud or you're quiet. You can either raise or lower it, whatever one you prefer.
Alright, let's see if I can get any closer to this mic and get anything better here. Alright, how's that? Any change?
You're a bit hot, but I mean it's louder for sure.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Alright. So, in any case, there's a Victory Road mode where it is a story mode. You go through all the different stables that are in there and all the different leagues, trying to unify the championships. The exhibition mode, which is what most people play. An open league, so it's a round-robin tournament mode. Single elimination tournament mode, although I'm noticing like the slight spelling error there. Elimination gone. The elimination match, which is survival mode, and then the 6-player battle royal. The death match is interesting because you have an electrified barbed wire cage that's surrounded with explosives, and at a certain time, when your time goes up, the ring will explode. This is...
That's pretty funny, actually.
What's that?
That's pretty funny, actually, when the ring explodes like that.
Yeah. Let's see. Why can I barely hear you? Bring that.
I have no idea.
Alright. Okay. That's better. Anyway.
It works.
This is like UFC style octagon cage fighting. And this is the edit mode. Now the neat thing about Fire Pro is that you could literally go in and rename all of the different characters right off the bat, and you can also rename all of the default leagues. So you'll notice, like on our English side, View Japan, which is the default, is New Japan Pro Wrestling. And so if you happen to know anybody, from Japanese wrestlers, particularly in the mid to late 90s, you'll see some of these names will be familiar. Yuji Nagata, Jushin Thunder Liger, Shinjiro Otani. You'll even see Chris Benoit when he was in his Wild Pegasus persona. And Masahiro Chono. So yeah.
Wait, so did Benoit did the New Japan, right?
Yeah, he did a stint in New Japan, like I think early to mid 90s.
Interesting.
And
I did not know that.
You'll see All Japan Pro Wrestling here, and I basically I went in and did all of these by hand, and then Slinga went ahead and imported the save that I did as part of the default for the disk. And so what it does is it creates a save file with all your renames already done, and it saves that to your Saturn memory. So there's a lot of different characters in there, mostly ones that the Japanese fans would have known, again, in the 90s. Alright, so that is the rename section. Alright, we'll exit out of that. But the thing that I wanted to show, when most people play wrestling games, they just go right in for the battle mode. They don't really check a look at a lot of the other features in this game in particular. This was a lot of work. I want to point out here, Malenko created this really small font. You see where it says default guy. Underneath it says heavyweight. It changed everything about being able to make this a playable game, playable mode. So we'll go ahead and just create some characters here. All right. So we're going to create Pat, and we're just going to call him Bones. Alright. And so, you'll notice here, like, I'm not synced up with the Japanese one. And that's okay. Alright, so we will scroll down, hit back. Oop. And I'll get Pat's T back in here. Exit. There we go. Alright. So, now that I'm back to being synced up, we'll go ahead and change the appearance. And you have all your different poses. We'll call, yeah, Pat's gonna be a luchador. Be medium-sized.
Luchador Patrick, I can dig it.
Yeah. And then, you have like a whole bunch of different heads. Let's make you both the same size here. Alright. Uh-oh. I don't think it liked that very much, did it?
Uh-oh, which one crashed?
Not sure. But, you know what? It's not stopping. I'll just keep playing without the audio. Yeah. That was annoying as all get out. I'd rather hear you anyway. I love this game, but
yeah.
I love this game, but sometimes that song really just, you know.
Yeah, it just gets grating on you.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, dun-dun-dun-dun. You can only hear the same guitar solo
so many times.
You just go crazy, yeah.
So what we're showcasing right here is the change that happened very recently, and this is the patch that Malenko handed me this morning. There are 6 different attires defaulted for all the wrestlers. And generally speaking, hitting the Z or the Y button will give you the one that people like know. So the Japanese default is with the A button, and that's this red trunks here this is Mike Awesome. For those who remember ECW back in the day. The Cactus Jack. So, yeah, all sorts of different wrestlers. Sabu.
Dude Love?
You could make a Dude Love. See, these are the Steiner brothers. That's Chris Jericho.
was watching that match. I forgot which Royal Rumble it was, but it was the one where Mike McFoley came in as like all three of his characters. It was actually really funny.
Yeah. So, any case, just to again point out some of the more interesting factors here. You've got the font that shows like the upper arms being bare, lower arms. So he just created these fonts, which I think is amazing, and it makes it so much easier to go through the creation section here. And everything got named, and this was probably like the bulk of the work that was done in the translation, section of this. Before this, there was like a 20 to 40 page document that you could read as a translation guide that was created by like the great Kagura back in 98, I believe.
Good year.
Yeah. So you have
not good year, depending on who you were.
You have the different promotions that you could assign this person to. So actually, let's give one different appearance, because there's a bunch of characters that just didn't get yeah, there you go. That's Mr. Bones.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
What
For now.
This?
So you can adjust their height and weight and, what kind of style they have. All of these will affect how, the rest of their works. Notice here where it says like voice type 1 and voice type 2. So you can choose like the different types of voices that the character has. But then we get into the attribute skills here. And this is where you can start assigning power and skill to individual sections. So like this guy will have a really strong submission style, can handle being stretched. He's got good kicks, good suplex, plenty of power, plenty of instant P, and he's definitely very rough. So.
Always gotta have that instant P,
Yeah, I think it stood for instant power.
Instant power.
And now, like, the part of this that made it possible, right? These are all the different moves, and just take a look here where it says, like, on the Japanese side, it was just the hiragana for standing attack A, versus on the English side, where he's got like this much smaller but still very easily read font for English. And he's also created like a icon for the voice. So this is voice 1. Then you can tell like it's shouting out. This section here that I've got highlighted is for special moves, or signature moves. And then there's also one for finishers. So there's your finisher. And like this was pretty much impossible to do without the guide. So you go in here and you can see all the names of all the different moves that were done. There's over 203 moves, I believe. And you can see like a preview of each move as you're doing it. So that kind of helped. But this was just so much work. So let's go like jumping inside to attack. And there you go, Pat. You're going to do a flying swan dive.
Hey, that's my specialty. Not really, but
no.
Let's pretend it is.
So you have like your basic grapples here. Grab on, do a throat chop.
My favorite.
But when most people have done this game and taken a look at the work that went into the translation, this wasn't seen. Because, unless you're deep into creating your own wrestlers, no one's going to go into this mode. And I think that, we'll go into Grapple C.
And I think that's what I really liked about this thing, is that it's one of the focuses is not to make it playable in English, it's to make it be a lot more playable for English users, if that makes any sense.
Right. Like, the primary use of Fire Pro these days is in simulations. You can... Granted, like, this game is 20 plus years old now, so it's not going to be graphically as impressive as the current version of the game. It's not going to have as many features, but it's the only one that did 6-player, and it was on the Saturn, so it was like my favorite to this day. Fire Pro Wrestling World is available on the PlayStation 4 and on Steam, but it's just, for me, it's just not been the same. So obviously I got a little bit out of sync here with the Japanese version, but I'm going to scroll down through all the moves so that you can just kind of see how many moves were translated painstakingly. And you'll notice, like, sometimes you'll see this one here, it says like Taker Chokeslam versus 1H Chokeslam versus Chokeslam. And that's because Malenko had to fit the names of the moves within the amount of characters that were already available. They couldn't expand how much space was available for a specific word.
All right. So that's understandable. You gotta just make concessions sometimes.
Yeah. So, in any case, just this list is incredible. And he went and he did them all. This was a major accomplishment. We went back and forth about some of the names of these things and how to make it work with the edits that were available. There was a pretty big community for Fire Pro going back at least to the Super Nintendo. They had ROM hacks and edits that were created and put into the Super Nintendo version of the game way back in the 90s, but we didn't have a Dex drive or the ability to swap save games with each other back then pretty easily, and certainly not on the Saturn. The Saturn version of this game utilizes or can utilize the memory cartridge for backup RAM. When you do that, you actually get an additional 64 wrestler edit slots.
Oh, dang.
Yeah, when normally the baseline of your Saturn, like the internal memory, can only hold 16 wrestlers. So yeah, you can have like double and triple team in the corner moves and all sorts of fun stuff.
Yeah, back in the day, if you wanted to share a save, the only way you could do this is mailing memory cords back and forth to each other.
Yeah, that
physical mail.
I'm so old school. I don't know if anyone remembers this, but there was some project, like a homebrew project for the PlayStation called the Memory Card Captor Sakura, where you could just basically like add, I think, a USB or a parallel or serial port interface to PlayStation 4-player adapter and use the memory card slots from there to be able to copy your memory saves down to your computer. I
like that name. I wonder what they were inspired by.
Right. But on the Saturn, the big problem was that it only really worked with the official memory card for the 64 wrestlers. But there's no way to get that memory off of that memory card at the time. Like, there was the action replays with the what is it, the game port on the top. Looks like a parallel port, but it was a PC comms link port, and that port, you had to have a special card, and it didn't exist on the official memory cards. So, continuing on here, you even have CPU logic, and based on what moves you do and where you set them up, you can program your wrestler to perform certain moves in certain times under certain conditions. So, in this situation, standing when there's large damage applied, 55% of the time the wrestler will try and grapple the other wrestler. 10% he'll stand back, 10% he'll circle around the opponent, 0% of the time he'll hit the standing A, 15% he'll hit standing B. So once you start seeing that, it becomes pretty obvious what everything means, right? These were all translated. The arrows were all created by Malenko painstakingly again. So in this logic, right, when he's grappling and there's very little damage done to the opponent, 5% of the time he'll do an A, 0% of the time he'll hit the Z or the X button, and it goes through. When you really tweak this out, you can have the characters that you make actually act very similar to their quote-unquote real-life counterparts. This is another one of my favorites that he did, like quality of life improvements. You'll have, when the enemy is down and face up, and it has, received large damage, you'll have 30% of the time your wrestler will attack the other wrestler's head with the B attack, or his legs with the B attack 10% of the time. And it's so much easier to understand what's going on when you're programming these logics now. And it makes it fun to actually go ahead and figure out what you want your wrestler to do.
What was probably the best wrestler you ever made that you feel like you could never top in terms of creating one?
So my wrestler creation, the only one that I got myself, I did a version of Eric Draven, right, the Crow. Go figure. In fact, one of the Easter eggs that we had tried to do back in 2020, Malenko, for people who don't know, he took his name after Dean Malenko. He was a wrestler from the WCW and WWF days in the 90s. So it
has nothing to do with ICP then?
No. I'm pretty sure not. But yeah, Dean Malenko is known as the Man of 1,000 Holds. And then when Slinga was doing this project with us, he took on the name of Superfly, like Jimmy Superfly Snuka. And
what's up, guys? Can you hear me?
Yo.
Yep.
Hi.
Slinga.
Hey.
How's it going, man?
Hey, Slinga. How's it going?
Sorry I'm late.
Yo.
Oh, you go off work early.
How goes? Is this actually
good, man?
Actually in here.
Yeah. So I was in the hospital last year, 2020, and I took my Fire Pro project stuff with me, and I was going to put in a default save with Eric Draven, Jimmy Superfly Snuka, and Dean Malenko as built-in, the top 3 slots of the wrestlers, as kind of like an Easter egg to the 3 of us working on this project.
Pretty sweet. So it'd be default to load up your guys' character creators, or have them in the game itself.
They would already be in the game. It would just be a save game that came through. It didn't end up working out because we didn't have an easy way of swapping the default characters at the time. Okay, I think it finally crashed. Yeah.
So I do have some scripts to do that now. Where, if you wanted to replace the existing 160 wrestlers, you could replace, update them, whatever you wanted to do. Basically, they used the same format the Cradle wrestlers used. So there's something like, I think, 16 slots for Cradle wrestler inside the backup memory, and then another 64 if you use the cartridge.
Yep.
But I figured out the format, and it took a while to figure out how it was. But we could move things in and out, and if you really wanted to, you could replace all the wrestlers. But it's just time, right? And it looks like Malenko's having fun with NBA Jam now.
Yeah. Yeah, there's some fun stuff to be had with NBA Jam. All right, so since we went through like the majority of the translation stuff, now I'm running both sides are in English, so not much to see as far as the Japanese stuff is concerned. But he did start doing the story mode, right? So we'll just do a couple of minutes of the story mode here, Victory Road. So you can pick whichever title you want to go after. I'm going to just pick easy. And then you can see, like, this is the stuff that you showed off, Pat, last year, right? Like, being able to go through all the different wrestlers and, see who's around.
Yeah, unfortunately, as much as I like the game and I enjoy it, I'm not anywhere as good and could do just as much as Mirror Crows can. So I definitely like you came on and did this because it's like I have no idea. It's like because you went through all this stuff, you'd be better equipped to explain why this is important than I would be able to.
All right, so this is the story translation that Malenko was doing for this. It's a Japanese wrestling game. Fire Pro has some pretty out there storylines. Yeah, I don't know what else to say about that. And each league has its own story. There's like some mini boss battles, or like a champion that you beat at the end. And most of the time, the champions are like hidden characters that you get to unlock as you play through the game. Oh, but I was going through the edits. That's what I forgot. So, in the 90s, a whole bunch of... oh no! It crashed. A whole bunch of websites were dedicated to just creating these edits. And you'd have like this template that you'd use, and it would be... a listing of all the moves, and they tell you what number down the list of move in order to recreate whatever they made. And it's a pain in the rear. It's just awful. But they did the best they could because they didn't have the save transfer options that we do today. Yeah, the coolest characters I've seen. There's the Great Kagura made a some fun stuff. Oh, why am I talking back here? Okay. The Great Kagura made a character called the Demon Agarok, and the logic on that character was pretty ridiculous, murderous almost.
In what way?
Relentless. Out of all the characters that I've ever come across, that one had not just the look, but also the moveset and the logic for the CPU. Let's see, let's just choose a random wrestler here. Masahiro Chono and Bam Bam Bigelow, sure. So I'm going to let that go. What's that?
I can dig that. That's kind of a good matchup.
Yeah. You can make a transformer. Some guys made like Ninja Turtles. There was a bunch of characters that were made for various superheroes. What was that?
I don't think I said anything.
Oh. Yeah, I think I'm getting like some sort of echo. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I think I hear a little bit of echo on your thing too. It's all good.
Yeah. So I don't know what's going on with this particular version. The characters are actually in here, but this is probably just a side effect of the specific emulator we're using. be able to show off dual screens. But in any case, when you use this on a more modern emulator like Mendefen, it works just fine, and it also works just fine on your Saturn when you have the means of being able to play your ROM hacks and homebrew games. I think that's all I've got for the showcase. Slinga, do you want to say anything else? And is Malenko in here?
Don't see Malenko. To be honest, 99% of this project was done single-handedly by Malenko. So, I don't want to, take any credit from him. He's just been super incredible at just chipping away at the text in the game. And at one point, he kind of restarted. Like, he completely changed his the way he was doing characters and stuff. And just super impressive that he's stuck with it. And I don't know if you showed them the Creator Wrestler screen.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, okay. So you've seen that he painstakingly, there's 300 up A moves and 400, forward B moves or whatever. And he sat there and renamed all of them to English. So, super, painstaking and, he got it all. So really impressive work by Malenko.
Yeah, definitely. And that's the whole reason. I feel somewhat ill-prepared. I didn't have a lot of sleep last night, so I apologize for the jankiness of the stream, guys.
It was all good. I was really informative, though. I'm glad we had you on talking about this game, because I certainly know I can't do it as justice as you can, because I know you worked on this project, and you have more passion and insight into the game than I can, because you were there back in the day. You understood what it's like to play without subtitles and what it means now that you can,
Yeah.
With English text.
Well, again, all of this comes down to, Sega Extreme bringing people together, these really ancient threads and hopes and dreams of a, 90s wrestling fan back in the day. And just a passion project. Yeah, so I'm super grateful. I know we've talked about on the podcast back a few years ago about how much I love this game. I would say that hands down, Christmas nights, the Saturn version of Street Fighter 03, Virtual On, and Fire Pro are my top Saturn games of all time.
Hey Pat, you want to guess what my favorite feature of this game is?
Is it the character creation, or is it the barbed wire matches?
Multi-tap. It's the multi-tap, dude.
It's always the multi-tap, dude, isn't it?
It is. So you can do 6-player matches here.
Dang, so that's why you liked it. You just liked it for the multi-tap. You're like, it's got multi-tap? I'm in.
Yeah, right.
It actually is a really great game. The only drawback, honestly, is there's a steep learning curve. So it's really tough nowadays to find, 6 people who know how to play the game, right? It's not a button masher where you can just pick up.
Yeah, that's kind of why I prefer playing Blazing Tornado a little bit better, because it was kind of my speed. It's like I kind of had an idea what to do with it. No offense, of course. Just I don't know. It seems like a big investment, but it seems like something I might want to be doing, because it actually is a pretty fun game.
Yeah. Blazing Tornado has the same kind of qualities as other arcade wrestlers of the time. I think the closest domestic, right, U.S. or English Western game would probably be Saturday Night Slam Masters. What I wanted to show here, real quick, is the game facts for this guide. Right, it came out in June of 1997 by Kagura. No one's been able to hear from Kagura in many, many years. But this was a large part of how things were done back in the day, right? You'd have one of these probably printed out, or you play next to your computer, and you'd go through all of this to figure out what each option was. And a lot of the translation guides that were back here aren't here anymore. You have the FAQ, but we don't see the other translation guides. And I had to go through my archives to find like the move translation guide. So just a lot of work. And I think it's really kind of interesting to me is that it bridges the gap between like, you know, my later teen years and, you know, my current fandom. This whole community that sprouted up, you know, late 90s, the GeoCities websites and Angel Fire and things of that nature that are just lost to time. And, you know,
that's sad, really.
It is. It really is. And I'm glad that I had the foresight to save, you know, like the websites back in the day using Netscape Navigator. Just downloaded all these websites that I could. And then when, you know, this project kind of started taking off, running through the archive.org and the GeoCities saving project and things of that nature to just try and find all of these old, you know, Fire Pro websites, because they still exist to some extent, and you can even find those old templates. And I know that, you know, even if you don't want to use an edit template, you can go in there with 203 different heads and a whole bunch of different types of attire that you can pick out, a great color palette, option set. You can create quite a few wrestlers. I'll be honest, the game hasn't aged particularly well. If you look at something like Fire Pro World, where you have, you know, options for male and female wrestlers, and different layering effects. But if you are a retro gamer who is, you know, fond of, you know, mid 90s and earlier, you know, wrestlers, particularly of Japanese knowledge, or want to play around with a great logic engine, you know, and try and do some simulation, this is a game to take a look at, and it's all thanks to Malenko.
Sounds good. All right. I think that's about where we have to wrap it up. We're
yeah.
starting the live stream in about 5 minutes, so get ready to prepare that. Thank you again, Kay, for showing this off. I really appreciate that. I'm really excited for people to get into this and try it some more, and hopefully inspire you guys to try it out, because it's a really fun game. At least I think so. And Kay definitely thinks so.
Yeah, definitely. And, yeah, thanks for watching. See you guys.
Later. See you guys in like 5 minutes.